Gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis.
What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you?
It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air on a Friday here in the Quad Cities TGIF. We have officially made it. Friday is here. The weekend will be here very, very soon. Hopefully you guys survived the week as well and are ready for a great weekend. A beautiful day here in the Quad Cities. Great temperatures. Going to get a little chillier this weekend, but what a great Friday it is. Sun is shining. Temperatures are great. And we got a lot to talk about once again on Off the Air here on a Friday, show number 5. So we are wrapping up a full week of shows. It's been a ton of fun. We want to thank everyone who's watched, especially on X recently. X has been really, really good to us. We appreciate everybody watching on X. You can watch right now live. Hopefully some of you guys are doing that. If you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate that as well. If you haven't subscribed to YouTube, please do that ASAP. But we do have good news. We are officially at 700 subscribers. So I can I can go into the weekend happy knowing that we are at 700 and now I can set my goal at 800 and we're working our way up to 1,000 subscribers. That is the goal. Hopefully we get there very, very soon. If you have subscribed, thank you so much for doing so. And if you have and you want to tell a friend or two or 10 along the way, we appreciate that as well. Also, the shows are up on all of the podcasting platforms as well. So if you don't want to deal with myself and look at myself for the entire show, which I don't blame you, go to all of the podcasting platforms. We're up on Apple, we're up on Podbean, we're up on Spotify, iHeart, you name it, we should be up there. So go check out not just today's show, but all of the shows from the past week. It's been a fun week of shows. On Monday, we had Pat Angerer, we had Jordan Delp. Good luck to Jordan Delp and company. They're in the CCIW semifinals tonight at 5 o'clock. We also had a pair of Bettendorf State champions as well on Monday. On Tuesday, Tom and Ked got us set for Iowa versus Illinois. The only time they met on the basketball court, men's wise, they did play for the ladies, and then they didn't play in football. So it was a good Tuesday to finally see that rivalry here in the Quad Cities take center stage. Of course, it was Illinois beating Iowa 81-61, but Tom and Ked set us up for that had views on the entire programs, big picture views. So still relevant if you want to go check out that show as well. Ty Taylor from WRMJ joined us on Tuesday as well. On Wednesday, we had Jim Madsen. We had Jen Getz talking about Pleasant Valley heading to state, and then Tom Johnston breaking down some really good regional action as well. Yesterday, Kyle Huseman, Tyson Blazer, go check out Tyson Blazer's interview. That was a ton of fun. Of course, Tyson is a Rockridge standout, a former Iowa baseball player, played professional baseball in the minor leagues, and he's now the catching coordinator for the entire Boston Red Sox organization. So great to catch up with my good friend Tyson Blazer. And then also Makokata head coach Chad Specht was on the show yesterday as well. So go check out all of the shows from the past, but we want to focus on today. And it is a busy show once again here in the Quad Cities because it's that great time of year. It's the last day of February. March is officially here tomorrow. College basketball will get rocking and rolling. It already has, but the high school hardwood has been fantastic. It promises to be that tonight, this weekend, and for the next couple weeks as well. Coming up tonight, it is Rock Island versus Moline at Warren Fieldhouse. We're going to preview that game a little bit and then talk about United Township's fantastic season. They won 22 games this year with Andy Saey, our United Township head coach, former Rockridge head coach. So we'll talk to him about the Rockets as well, get his take on a lot of high school basketball. And of course, we're going to ask Andy because he's only a matter of moments away, but he's already been on the show. He's been on the show today. He's been on the show every single day because he is the man at the beginning of our open. So we'll talk a lot with Andy Saey coming up in just a matter of minutes. Also, on today's show, we talked with Makokata's Chad Specht yesterday. We talked with Jen Getz on Wednesday. Today, a trio of Central DeWitt basketball standouts, including MAC Player of the Year Lauren Walker, will join us later in hour number 1 to talk about Central DeWitt. They head to state next week. They'll take on Norwalk on Tuesday at 1:30. Nothing like that Tuesday afternoon 1:30 game at state, but that's when they play. We'll talk to them about their fantastic season and what should be a fun week for them next week as well. And then also, we're going to get dorky today because I don't want to say dorky because I'm a wrestling fan and I love it. So we're going to talk professional wrestling. We're going to talk WWE. The road to WrestleMania is officially underway. This weekend is Elimination Chamber. My good friend, wrestling expert Don Umland will be here in hour number 2 to look ahead to Elimination Chamber, what we think may happen, and then what we may think might happen coming up in WrestleMania, now just like 6 weeks away. So time is flying when we're having fun. And then last but not least today, I have a Randazzo's rant. I'm wearing my Lions sweatshirt today, and I've been cranky about something this week. And so just so I feel good heading into the weekend, I want to get something when it comes to the Lions and, yes, the Bears off my chest before the weekend hits. So that coming up later in the show. So we have a ton to get to. I do want to mention and talk about some stuff that happened last night. And congratulations to the Sterling girls basketball team. Head coach Taylor Jackson was on the show recently, I believe last week. The days and weeks all run together. But Western Big Six champions, they won their first regional since 2017, I believe. Last night, they knocked off Dixon 39-30. So they are sectional champions. They will head to the Elite Eight coming up next week. We are going to track down the Golden Warriors sometime this weekend and talk to them about their sectional championship and look ahead to the super sectional coming up sometime this weekend. We'll have that for you hopefully on Monday as well. So congratulations to Coach Jackson, all the girls out at Sterling. And it just goes to show, you come on the show, good things happen. I don't want to take full credit for their success, but once again, come on the show. And normally, I know there's a few like weird little situations, but for the most part, I think we got some pretty good mojo here on the show as well. So congratulations to Sterling. They are your sectional champions. They will head to the super sectional coming up next week. We start today on the high school hardwood, talking a little hoops with a good buddy of mine who hasn't been on the show yet, but he's on the show every stinking day. Andy Saey over at United Township joins us. And Andy, I'm going to start there. Every single day that people watch the show, and God bless them for watching it, it starts off with you just being brutal to me, just an absolute hammer at the banquet. I appreciate that you did that because it helps my show out a little bit, I think.
I think brutal might be a stretch, but, obviously, we have a good relationship, rapport, so I felt pretty confident that it was going to be all right if I poked a little fun at you at the start of the banquet. So didn't envision being a part of the show long term, but, whatever works for you and gets people to continue to watch, I'm all for.
You said it, and when you said it, because I was in the process of building opens and all those kind of things, I literally said in my mind, well, that's going to go in my open. That might be the start of my open. And it worked out absolutely perfect. So you've been on the show in that capacity every single day. First time having you on this year. And you look at the season that UT has had, your second season at UT. Just finished up on Tuesday, 22 victories. You won 16 games your first year. You have to be excited. Obviously, didn't end the way you wanted in the postseason, but you have to be excited the direction that your program's at right now.
Yeah, as far as where we ended in the postseason, I kind of made my peace with it. We did a lot of really great things this year. So to kind of just focus in on that one last game, I think that takes away from all the hard work that the kids did this year and even last year and in the summer, right? Like every day kind of prepares you for the season. So, anytime you come into a new situation, a new school, you always wonder, like, how is your style of coaching? How is your brand of basketball, your relationship building with the kids? How is that going to pay off in this new environment? To be sitting here talking to you about our success, this is a huge testament to them buying into me and Coach Whiteman and our new way to them of doing things. So, it's easy to look at that final result and be disappointed, but it's not a true marker of all the hard work that, the coaching staff and myself and also these kids put into the season. Cause they work hard. That's the biggest thing I realized when I got here is like, they want to be in the gym. They want to be here. Like I give them days off and they ask to come in on those days. It's really kind of a special feeling to kind of see how much these kids want to be here and want to work at it. So I'm just, continuously proud to be here at UT to coach these kids and all that we've accomplished in a short amount of time.
I know Toby well, and I was talking to him, Coach Whiteman, the other day, a few weeks ago, and he talked about the kids in the program and how there's such good kids. Kind of talk about that because culture is a big word that people use in sports a lot, but it's important. And to get the renovated gym and get your system in and bring your culture in with what the kids already are like, it seems to have been a good fit. Kind of talk about that because you have your style of things and the way you want to do things, and you got a bunch of hardworking young men. And I think it probably results in 22 victories this year, I guess.
Yeah, culture for us kind of is like the who, what, when, where, and why of every decision that we make within our program. So in order to do that at a high level, you've got to have kids that buy in and really believe in you and the stuff that you're saying. A lot of what we talk about isn't even basketball related. It's, how do you respond to mistakes? How do you respond to bad plays or bad days or bad situations? And then kind of if you respond the right way, the wins and losses kind of take care of themselves. So that's something that we were selling to these kids last year, and it was kind of a new concept to them, and it took a little bit, but eventually, we had some great senior leaders last year, and Dom Roden and Caden Terrell. That obviously made my job much easier because they bought in, they started doing it. And now it's common practice. You can hear it, in freshman practices, telling kids that's not what we do in this program. All the way up to our this year we had junior leaders, which I thought did a great job, and Josiah Massey and Tyler Horvath. So, just that everyday culture that we're trying to build within our program. And then, you talked about the new gym. I fought hard not to take this job. I really did. Like I talked to our administration 2-3 times before I finally was like, all right, I'll come in for an actual interview. I remember walking out of here the first time I talked to Doc Morrow and Bam and Mr. Wright. And I was like, there's no way I'm taking this job. I can't do that to my Rockridge guys. And the more I talked to our administration, there's no way I can't take this job. Like, these guys are so bought into me, to the program, to this community, to this school. Like, I was drawn to the relationship I had already made with our administration. And then going through the interview process, they're like, yeah, we're a year away from building a new gym. And I've been in enough interviews to be like, yeah, okay, we'll see how that goes. And then sure enough, they made true every word they said in those interviews. And I'm just thankful to them for sticking with me when I was trying to give them the cold shoulder early on. And now I'm here, and I can't really imagine, not being here, because I was worried about leaving those kids at Rockridge because I love them so much. And now I'm here with these guys, and I've got, similar relationships and similar feelings with my team and those guys. So I've just been really lucky to be around some really great people at a lot of different schools.
Yeah, your story almost sounds like how I got my wife. She wanted nothing to do with me, kept giving me the cold shoulder, but I kept on promising things that I didn't deliver. At least UT delivered, but that's how. Those are two long, fun stories. But you look at United Township, and boy, they send out the Western Big Six all conference teams yesterday, and there's like 14 kids on them, and it's senior heavy as you'd expect. 10 seniors. There's 4 players on that list that are coming back. 2 of them are your guys. Talk about the future, because you mentioned juniors and stepping up this year. There's a nice foundation, a really nice foundation for United Township heading into next year.
We're thrilled. We're excited. We've got guys, I thought there was another guy we probably could have put up, but when you look at that Western Big Six, there's a ton of talent. You look Bradley Longcourt, Trey Taylor, Braden Freeman, Lawson Zulu's a stud. Keyshawn Thomas going to be a Division II basketball player. And I even thought Ben Go from Rock Island probably could have been on that first team too. So, yeah, just to get Josiah on second team, I thought was a success for us because of how strong the conference was this year. And then Octavius, he's got a ton of potential. So for him to be on that honorable mention, I think, is a testament to what everybody, what I see, and now what everybody else is seeing in him, and the potential. Top to bottom, we've got a lot of talent. We're really excited about this group, and some of it's young talent, some of it's guys that are starting to kind of fit into that old category. Josiah will be a senior next year. Tyler, Octavia, hopefully 6 seniors next year that stick with it. And, we had 3 my first year. We had 2 this year. So, seniors win postseason games. And I hope that rings true for us next year. But, with those seniors, we've also got a great group of sophomores, Jordan Massey, Leo Jonathan Drake, Joe Morrow. I mean, they won the Western Big Six at the sophomore level, going 11-1. So, we're really excited about the future for UT basketball, and need to continue to get guys that want to buy in, want to work, and not have any down years. So, I'm excited. The good thing about UT, we have an all-school approach here. Like a lot of those kids that I just said, they're going to play football, they're going to play baseball. So, in my experience, having solid two-sport athletes, not only is it good for those other sports, but those kids that have been in situations in football don't shy away from the big moment when it comes to basketball season and vice versa. So really exciting time at UT, and also kids like just to be around, fun to have in practice, which is such a huge deal when you talk about a 4-month season. You got to want to be around each other. Otherwise, that 4 months turns into 6, it feels like.
United Township's Andy Saey joining us right now on Off the Air. Andy, when you look at taking a job at United Township, along with it comes taking the Western Big Six or going into the Western Big Six. And it's been so good lately. And I think this year was another great example. That top half, and I'd even throw Sterling in, those top 5, it's a dogfight each and every night. Talk about the league and how good it was this year, because I think you knew it being a local guy and being around here, but Western Big Six basketball is slept on, I think, around the rest of the state, and it's really, really good.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I kind of figured out is like there's a deep-seated rivalry with almost everyone in conference, right? There's history between all those teams, especially the 6 that have been in. So like you feel it when you walk into gyms. People are, they've been going to these games for 40, 50 years, and they don't like you, even though they don't know you, going into these games. So that's always a fun environment. And then just the talent, like you said, I mean, our top 5 or our first team, 4 of them are scholarship basketball players, and Lawson Zulu has that potential after next year too. You look at Sterling has Nico Battaglia break the all-time 3-point record, and he was an honorable mention kid. Like, I mean, come on. That's a ton of talent. And you got Dom Clay as a second teamer who's going to play Division I basketball down in Texas. I mean, I can't speak for the rest of the state, but that's impressive to me. Like, and, I don't think it gets enough press publicly around the state, but that's just because there's so much talent out of the Chicago area. So, it's fun. You've got to be ready to go each and every night. You talk about the top half of the conference. Even Sterling is incredibly difficult to game plan for and to guard. Caden Phillips is a free throw merchant. He gets to the line 10, 12 times a game. And if he doesn't, he lets you know about it. And then you've got Aglia. They shoot 33s a game. So you got to be ready to go each and every night. And Galesburg is nothing to sniff, to not respect either, because that's a tough environment to play in, and those kids play hard for Coach Thompson. So this year's it was a fun year, especially since we were able to kind of make that leap from year 1 to year 2 to kind of like have an understanding of what our identity is. That was the biggest question mark I had from last year to this year. And, guys did a great job of buying in and kind of rallying around the fact that we needed to guard. We needed to guard people each and every night because we don't have that guy that's going to go out and get 20 points for us in tough games. So fun year of basketball. I know, you get to that month of January and then into February, and you're kind of just limping towards the finish line because everybody's tired and dragging, and you haven't seen the sun most days. But just getting to see those guys compete and the experience they have each and every night, that it makes it worth it for you.
Absolutely. I wish we could be talking to you about a game tonight with UT involved, but I do want to pick your brain on Rocky Moline because the rivalry and all that kind of stuff, and you've seen these guys a lot. You saw both teams twice. So just what a night like tonight is like, and those two teams, very good basketball teams. Only one of them can win a regional. I think that was the unfortunate part. You looked at the way things drew up, and there were 3 really good Western Big Six teams all funneling into the old brick house. But, I mean, your thoughts on tonight and a classic Rocky Moline rivalry at the brick house with a regional championship on the line?
Well, there's some things that you are guaranteed to see tonight, right? Like, you're going to see 2 teams that are well coached play incredibly hard. Rock Island's greatest skill set might be that they're just such fierce competitors that they think they're going to win any game they're in, right? That level of confidence, it's so important. I wish I could bottle that up and sell that because, on paper at the start of the year, they weren't supposed to win against Moline or Quincy, but those kids, they think they can beat anybody, and that's so huge in high school basketball because kids fluctuate with their confidence so much. So you're going to see that tonight out of Rock Island. Obviously, everyone knows Sean Taylor is one of the best coaches in the state. He does an excellent job, and fortunately, we got to see them 3 times this year. So I kind of was joking with Sean that he's got 700 wins, and it feels like 20 of them are against me. So they're going to play hard. Trey Taylor is one of the best basketball players in the state. I continue to say that. He continues to be overlooked by college coaches, but he does such a great job and can do it, at all 3 levels. And when he guards, it takes his game to the next level. So it's going to be a great matchup. They're going to play hard. Arthur Abbey guards so hard. So it's going to be fun to watch. The other thing you can guarantee is that those bleachers are going to be so uncomfortable, and it's going to be 95 degrees in there. I thought I was going to pass out after the game. They need to do something about some ventilation in there. But obviously, aesthetically, it's one of the best gyms in the state to be at. So it's going to be a fun night. You better get there early because parking is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, no, it should be fun. I want to pick your brain before I let you go on some other high school basketball around the area. And you mentioned Rockridge, a place you had a lot of success at, and your sidekick, I guess, is the best way to call Toby. Is sidekick? Is that the best way? Maybe the Batman or the Robin to your Batman, whatever you want to call Toby. You guys had a lot of
coaches.
Yeah. Well, you guys had a lot of success at Rockridge, and there's a group of seniors at Rockridge that goes down to Macomb tonight, and they lost that game last year to the Macomb team. Always a tough place to play in Macomb. But talk about those 4 seniors that you know really well at Rockridge and kind of the legacy that they've left at Rockridge. I mean, it's been building over and over, and there's been such good players, but Landon Bulls won 1,000,000 games, I think, at Rockridge. Just your thoughts on those guys, and I know those seniors mean a lot to you.
I love those kids, and, they were the main reason why I was trying to turn this job down. When I did my student teaching at Rockridge, I actually did it with Caleb Kunico, Landon Wheatley, Landon Bull. They were 3rd grade. So I've known them since then, right? And then they were coming to camps. I worked out with those guys in the summer. They came in at 6 a.m, 3 times a week. They were working harder than some of my high school guys when they were in junior high. So I've been fortunate to have a really good relationship with them. I still talk to Landon Wheatley almost once a week now. So yeah, they've just had a storybook high school career, right? They probably have their own trophy case at Rockridge just from all the stuff they've brought back. So they're going to be battle tested. I know that they've had some losses this year that maybe they probably thought they should have won or could have won, but that's part of it. I'm a big believer that winning masks a lot of things. So you play an easy schedule, you feel pretty good about yourself. They didn't have an easy schedule this year. They're ready to roll, and I know they were bumped up and bruised up a little bit at times, but I think they're going to be, in a position where they can make another deep run. But like you said, Macomb is a tough place to play. Jeremy does a great job there. They guard. Their offensive actions are tough to guard. He's really good friends with Toby, so he's let me sit in on some of his walkthroughs, some of his practices, and the attention to detail that he has it's really tough. I mean, he's a heck of a coach. I've got a lot of respect for him. So to take a team, even as good as those guys are and as battle tested as those guys are, Macomb, that's going to be a tough test tonight. If you're a fan of high scoring games, I can't imagine you're going to enjoy that one because Jeremy wants to keep that score low and not let Landon Bull go crazy or Caleb Kunico shoot the lights out. So I'm excited to see what happens there, hoping they can get into the sectional and make a little bit of noise and hopefully get that rematch with Sherrard.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Can you answer this question? I've been going through it for a while now. Who's the best shooting Kunico?
Caleb Kunico is the best shooter in the Quad Cities. He is second to Pete, though.
Oh, wow. Does
Pete Kunico coming off a stagger screen is just a nightmare.
I wish I wouldn't have asked you that. You're supposed to throw shade at Pete, not do that. No, you know what?
Can't do it.
I'll take
I
Caleb.
got 15 assists a game for him.
I'll take Caleb. And I think the best shooting Kuniko in the family might be Beth. She's slept on. Nobody talks about Beth.
Yeah.
It's probably her jump shot that did the thing.
She's a silent assassin. That's definitely where Caleb got it from.
I do want to talk to you. You mentioned Sherrard and that rematch with Sherrard. Obviously, you had great battles with Sherrard, but you could probably see them coming. And there's another familiar face on that sideline in Alec Johnson. And I don't want to get into the storied legacy of the East Moline Glass Bettendorf League team, but 3 championships in the C League over at Bettendorf. I was part of it. I was mainly yelling from the sideline and BSing referees, which is what I do best. But both you and Alec played, and boy, you guys both were coaches because you guys didn't shut up on the court. You constantly coached us as we went. But to see his success, and I know there's a Rockridge-Sherrard rivalry and all that kind of stuff, but he's a heck of a basketball coach as well, isn't he?
He does a great job, and most people don't know this. Alex is actually my second cousin. So
are you kidding? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it was always funny when he was at Orion and I was just starting out at Rockridge. My aunt and uncle and then his dad and their family, they'd come watch the games and watch us compete against each other. And it's just fun to kind of have that little bit of rivalry on top of, that Sherrard-Rockridge rivalry. So, you could see it that they're starting to get things built up there, the excitement that was going into that program. And then obviously, Ryland Carton coming there helped a ton. So they're a tough team. It's funny. He probably won't mention this or admit this, but they were a deny pressure man-to-man team. And then we were always a pack line team. Well, I leave to go to UT and then all of a sudden he's a pack line guy and now they're winning more games. So I'm not going to say I'll take credit for some of those wins, but he knows the truth.
You should get an assist, right? At least an asterisk, an assist, something along those lines. Andy Saey joining me. A couple more for you before I let you get back to work because you have a real job. You don't just play TV show in your loft like some guy at a banquet once said or whatever. But
you're not playing it. You're doing it, man.
No, it's been fun. You talked about the athletic department there at United Township, and a lot of good dudes there, and a lot of good coaches. Have the utmost respect, and I'm a friend with Nick Welch and what he does and everything along those lines. And Bam's been fantastic. Bam's leaving at the end of this year. What's he been like for you? And then same question, are you worried about the replacement? Because I don't know if I trust Scott Harding. I mean, I don't know. I've seen him do nothing but drink coffee on campus. I've never seen him do anything but. So first talk about Bam, and then are there concerns about Scott Harding?
Well, Bam's a legend, right? Like you look on the walls over there, and his name's all over for wrestling. Obviously did it at a high level in college, and then now has come back and help promote an array of quality athletic programs, right? He's done an excellent job, trusted me to do my job. Anything I've ever asked for, he's found a way to make it happen. So he's done just a great job. And then also getting to coach his son, Connor, these last 2 years. Connor's a kid I really care for and appreciate. So, just that relationship building with them has been fun. And the support I've gotten from him has been fun. There's times where he's been like, you need to coach my son a little bit harder. You need to get on him a little bit more. And, what people don't realize is the parent buy-in is almost as important as the player buy-in. And I've gotten that from, our athletic director and also our superintendent, because I coach his son as well. So that's been huge for me personally and, professionally. And I'm really excited about Scott Harding. The wheels are turning, man. He's so fired up and bought in on this new role, and he's trying to make things better and trying to improve things, but also wants our opinion on everything. It's a fun environment to be in. Nick Welch is one of the hardest working coaches I've been around. So I've got a ton of respect for the guys around here. And, Coach Pavlonis, Coach Holschbach, just guys that not only want their program to be the best program in the state, but also want to support you and everything that you and your program needs and is doing. So that's been awesome. So I can't say enough positive things about this school district the people that work in it, the kids that come here every day, and the programs that we're trying to continue a legacy of success.
Andy, this has been a ton of fun. I gave you the opportunity to throw Pete Kunico, Alex Johnson, and Scott Harding under the bus. I lobbed up easy hammers for you, and you, the professional that you are, take the high road and talk nice about people. I appreciate you, appreciate our friendship. I appreciate you at the start of every single show. That's going to live for a long, long time. I'm not changing that until next basketball banquet when you might have some more fun things to say. But appreciate you doing this. I know you're busy. Are you going to watch any high school basketball tonight? Do you sit at home and put it up on the TV and watch a bunch of them, or do you go to someplace?
Well, normally I'd probably watch something. I'd most likely be sulking at home watching it on my TV. But tonight, my brother's the strength and conditioning coach at Illinois College, and they're playing in the semifinals of the Midwest Conference at Monmouth College. So I'm going to meet him and go watch them. They play Grinnell tonight, so that should be a fun game. And then Kyle Taylor's playing right after that against Lake Forest. So we're going to catch a couple of those games, and I haven't seen him in a while, so I'm going to get to catch up with him. I do think that I deserve some sort of like executive producer credit for the start of your show. So we'll have to work that out. I'll have my agent call you.
Please do. There's a royalty. There should be a royalty someplace, like a dime for every time we run it, so you can make a couple bucks here and there. Hey, if you have any ideas on how to make money, let me know, because my wife asks me every day if I'm doing it yet. So if you got any ideas, you let me know. We're getting there, but not quite. So, all right, buddy. Well, I appreciate you. Get back to work. We'll talk to you real soon.
All right. Thanks a lot, Matt.
All right. That is Andy Saey, head basketball coach over at United Township, talking about a fantastic year for the Panthers, the program and culture that he's starting to build, and then always great to pick his mind when it comes to high school basketball around the area. It promises to be a great, fun Friday night here in the Quad Cities. We got more to get to. Coming up, we'll hop the river to the Iowa side of the river, where the Central DeWitt girls are heading to state next week. Their captains join us next right here on Off the Air.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air on a Friday here in the Quad Cities. A great time of year. High school basketball in the postseason is in full swing, and we have 4 teams from our area heading to state next week in Iowa for the girls, and one of them resides in DeWitt. The Central DeWitt girls heading back to state, or heading to state, I should say, and a trio of Sabers joining us right now. Kinley Burt, Lauren Walker, and Ava Putnam, all 3 with us today. And I guess we'll start with you, Lauren, since you're an old pro at this show. You've been on before. What's it like? And we talked earlier in the year, and there were expectations and things were going great for yourself and for this team to get to state and to punch that ticket. What's it feel like? What's it meant?
Yeah, it's just so exciting. I was able to have this experience my freshman year, but I just wanted to be able to have it again. I want to be able to go back to Des Moines, and especially with these girls, because we've just been so close. We've played basketball with each other for forever. So I'm just so excited. I just truly feel so blessed to have this opportunity, and it was just such a fun game the other night. And I think we're just going to cherish every moment and make the best of it. So it's going to be really fun.
Ava, I'm going to ask you, because I talked to Lauren early in the year, and you guys flew under the radar. Everyone talked about other teams in the MAC, and it was Central DeWitt at the end of the day with the MAC championship. What has this season been like for you, and when did you realize that this team was more than just a team not talked about? It was a really good basketball team.
Well, I think we played so good, and we really proved ourselves, especially being projected to come out fourth in the MAC and being MAC champions. I'm just so proud of all of us, and we worked really hard for this, and yeah.
Yeah, Kinley, when did you guys realize? I remember talking to Lauren about it a little bit, but when did you young ladies realize, and did you guys go into the season with a chip on your shoulder because everyone was talking about the other teams in the conference and they'd maybe mentioned Central DeWitt at the end of the conversation? Did you guys have a chip on your shoulder, and when did you guys know that this could be a special group?
From the beginning, I thought we got projected fourth, and I think we just took that to heart, and we're we can go out there and prove people wrong. And then when we beat North at their home, we were we got this. We can play with anyone, and we just always played with that mentality, we can play with anyone, and that just really helped us.
Yeah, absolutely. Lauren, she just talked about those victories earlier in the season. That's got to give you confidence now, because there's North, there's Pleasant Valley, there's teams that are going to state in a class that's bigger and projected to do pretty good things too. And you guys have played with and beaten them. Talk about the road to get to where you're at, because playing in the conference you play in has you battle tested for what's to come in Des Moines.
Yeah, I think that's huge. The MAC is great for us because we do play a lot of 5A teams. So, we're playing bigger schools. We're playing really good teams. Like you said, North, Bettendorf, and PV especially. It's huge for us to play those games. And then especially when you get wins off of those games, because now going into state, we do drop down a class. So they're still great teams, but it's just maybe not as big as schools. And so that's just huge for us because it's a real confidence builder. We can go in knowing that we beat some really great teams and that we can do this. So I think that's just huge. Just playing bigger schools in a bigger class and then dropping down is kind of important. So it's fun just to be able to have that.
Absolutely. Ava, take me back to Tuesday night. I think it was Tuesday night. My days all run together. But what was that environment like? And when you guys accomplish what you accomplish and that buzzer goes off, what goes through your mind when you know you're heading to state?
I mean, it was amazing playing in that environment. We had our whole Saber community here. It was packed. It was so loud. It's just so fun being able to play in that and seeing the support we have. And when that buzzer went off, oh my gosh, we were all so excited. I don't even remember what I was thinking. I was just jumping for joy.
And Kinley, that's the beauty of high school athletics, is moments like that. And I know Coach O'Brien for a long time, and I know he knows to enjoy those. I know you're back to work now. You got practice this morning and all those kind of things. But did you get a chance to enjoy it? And what was that evening like, maybe even the next day like? Because these are memories and moments that you guys are going to be old like me someday and look back on fondly. Did you get to enjoy the moment?
Yes, I think we did. We, spent time together after. We all went out to eat. And I know I didn't really sleep well that night because I was just really excited. And our parents were super excited for us. And I think that's just really big for us. We got that win and then we enjoyed that moment together. And yeah.
It's back to work, Lauren, and I know there is business to be done, because yes, it's great to get there, but I don't think you guys are content on just getting there. You want to make some noise when you get there. It's Norwalk on Tuesday. What do you know about Norwalk? What's this week been like, and how do you prepare for a really good opponent when you get to state?
Yeah, I think the week's been super fun. Obviously, we've definitely had a high being Tuesday, but now, we got to get back to work and kind of focus. Because like you said, yeah, we're at state, but we don't want to just go lose in the first round. We want to go all the way. That's our next goal. So Norwalk is definitely going to be a tough game. They're a really good team. They have two sisters that we're going to have to shut down, a freshman and a senior, that are both really good. And we've watched film on them, so they're definitely good. So we just got to come out hard. Defense is what has won us games the entire year. So we'll just focus a lot on defense, but definitely get back to work today. Push each other because we have more to do. So,
yeah, Ava, you look at it too. It's an experience that you guys don't know about. So going to Des Moines, playing in that arena, how do you prepare, not just, basketball wise, but nerve wise, mentality wise? I mean, it's going to be an awesome experience, but how do you prepare mentally for the big stage and what's to come at state next week?
I mean, for me, I just got to tell myself, not to get in my head. It's just another game. Don't get nervous. And then I think, all of us as a team, we'll, talk it over together and be like, we got it. Don't be nervous. And we're also doing a shoot around at Carver, so I think that will help us, get used to that, big stadium feel. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. I was just going to ask Kinley about that because usually you get up there and do something like that. I know a lot of teams do start at Carver Hawkeye or SAP at Carver Hawkeye. What's that going to be like? I don't know if you're an Iowa fan. I don't know if any of you guys are Iowa fans, but I have a feeling you'll go over to that logo that says 22 and be chucking a few logo three-pointers. What will that be like? And those are some of the perks, bonuses, fun memories that you guys are going to remember for quite some time. What will it be like to hit the hardwood at Carver Hawkeye?
I'm excited. I didn't know that we would be able to do that. And then just having that experience of going in there and seeing where these great players perform and do big things. And then just us being able to step on that court and see what it's like. And just from that view and perspective of things. And I think that's really exciting, and just being able to enjoy that moment with my team.
Absolutely. Yeah. Lauren, will you guys be rushing to the logo? Are you planning on will you leave there without making a logo 3? Is that something you have to do no matter how many times it takes to shoot it?
Yeah, I will not be leaving until I make that 3. And we love each other, but we're also competitive, so I'm sure there'll be some competitions on, who can make it the most times in a row, who can make it first. So, we're definitely going to have fun with that one.
The Central DeWitt girls join us right now on Off the Air. Ava, this team seems like a lot of fun. I've known Coach O'Brien for a long time, like I mentioned, and interviewing Lauren earlier in this year was fantastic. It seems like a great, tight-knit, fun group of girls. Is that a safe way to describe you guys? Is it fun? Is it goofy? Is it how would you describe the young ladies that you get to play with every single day?
I love this team. Everyone's amazing, and we have so much fun together. And obviously there's we're goofy too with each other, but it's also fun. And we come to work, of course, but we still have fun doing it.
That's the important thing. And that makes sure that Coach O'Brien doesn't get any gray hair, but I guess that ship's kind of sailed, so we won't have to worry about that. Hey, Kinley, is there a class clown? Is there a goofball? Is there that person on the team that's always making sure the mood is light if the mood needs to be light?
Oh, 100% Alyssa Lippens. Definitely. Yeah, she's that girl. We're if we get in our heads, she'll just crack a funny joke, and then we're like, oh, this is, it's not always supposed to be hard, and we can just take a moment and relax and just have fun and play basketball. And she's just always saying stuff, and it's fun. It always brings smiles to our faces, anything she says. But yeah, definitely her.
And that's important. And you need to smile. You need to have fun during these times as well. Lauren, we talked about the Saber community. And that place was packed. It's a great environment up in DeWitt with what you guys do. Talk about that, because I don't want to say you guys are superstars or rock stars around the area, but I'm sure when you go to McDonald's or go wherever you're going in DeWitt, people are wondering and talking and excited for Saber basketball. How fun is that? And it really is a special community up there, isn't it?
Yeah, this community is amazing. That's one of the biggest parts I'm definitely going to miss about playing here at DeWitt. Constantly stands are packed, like you said. I mean, the other night there was literally nowhere you could sit. I think some people were having to stand just because there were so many people there. And yeah, it's so fun. You go into restaurants or you get texts from people all the time. And it's people you don't even know, and they're just like, hey, great game last night. Or they're asking you about your next game. And this community, it's just amazing. The support that they put behind athletes is just, it's nothing. It's just amazing. You really can't say, it's hard to talk about it just because they bring smiles to your faces. I know on Tuesday night we were all sitting there waiting for the starting lineup to go. and we all just look up and we're like, wow, guys, like, look at this community. Like, let's do it for ourselves, but let's also do it for them because they just support us so much.
That's well said. Well said, Lauren. Some goofy questions before I make you guys go back to work and practice and all that kind of stuff. Ava, is there any superstitions with this team? Is this team superstitious, a little stitious? Is there things that you guys have to do or not? Like, do you guys have any superstitions?
Well, before every game in the locker room, before like our coaches come in to talk to us, we always do the Cotton Eye Joe.
That sounds. Now, do you record that? Is there any video of that?
Yeah, we have some videos of it.
Is it with music? Are you guys singing it? Explain this to me a little bit. I'm intrigued, Ava. I'm intrigued.
I have a big speaker that I bring in, so we play it on there and then just dance to it.
Love it. I love it. I love it. Lauren, if you could have dinner, I don't know if I asked you this the first time. Did I?
I think you asked me if I could play one-on-one with anybody.
So then I'll go to Kinley. If you could have dinner with one person in this entire world, sports, non-sports, whatever, who would it be and why? Yeah, tough questions. This isn't a softball interview. I'm coming with the hard questions.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I feel like right now a good person I would pick was maybe like, I don't know, Caitlin Clark. I mean, she's done a lot of big things and she's still being talked about a lot. And I just want to know, like, how she does it, like how she handles it with all the media and, you know, just doing the things she does. And yeah.
That is a great answer. Lauren, is there a pregame meal or food or food that this team, like you talked about, maybe celebrating after a game or whatever? What's the pick to click when it comes to food for this team or for yourself as you get ready for games and all that kind of stuff, or celebrating games?
Well, for myself, I always have a protein shake right before the game. So, like, I always have to have that. And I think one time I forgot it and I had to have my mom bring it to me because I had to have it. After games, we did Hall of Fame the other night. McDonald's, I would say McDonald's is just kind of a common one for like every sports team in DeWitt. Like, we don't have a lot of options, so it's just like everybody, the whole school goes to McDonald's. So I would just say that's definitely a big one.
See, that's the easy thing is when you're in a community like that where you don't have a ton of options, you don't have to sit there and wonder and all those kind of things. I talked to Lauren about it when I had her on earlier this year, but Ava, I'll ask you, and I don't know if he's still roaming around, so if he is, don't feel pressure, but Coach O'Brien has had a ton of success, and he's somebody this week and going to state next week can kind of tell you what it's like because he's been there and he's gone to state and coached with Davenport North. What's he been like to this team? What's he like for you guys? And what's it like having him at the helm with you young ladies?
He's a great coach. We all really like him. He pushes us every day at practice and makes us work hard, but also like he still has fun with us. He even has his goofy moments too. And he's just a funny guy.
No, he is. He's a goofball, that's for sure. Lauren, we'll finish with you. When you personally wise, a lot of milestones, you leave as the leading scorer of the school and all that kind of stuff. Name MAC Player of the Year. And when you look at this conference, and we talked about it before, there's a lot of great individual talent, and the list is awesome. It's probably one of the most talented individual seasons in the MAC that I can remember in my 25 years of covering it. What's it mean to be a MAC Player of the Year, especially the season and the people that were in it this year?
Yeah, it just meant the world. You know, Coach told me the other day, and I was just like, a huge smile was over my face, and I just felt so blessed, like so much joy, just because, yeah, this conference is insane. Like, if you look at the girls, we have so many like Division I players, Division II players, Division III players. There's just so many good girls. And so to get that award just means the world. It's so cool. And it's so fun, like being able to do it with my teammates. Like, I tell them all the time, I wouldn't have been able to do it without any of them. I wouldn't have been able to do it without my coaches. So just the support system that I have around me has definitely helped me reach my goals, and this one especially. So it's just so cool to, you know, kind of get that award. Is just with this conference is amazing. So
it's been a fantastic year for yourself. It's been a great season for the Central DeWitt girls. They head to state next week. They take on Norwalk at 1:30 on Tuesday afternoon. I appreciate you guys doing this. For full disclosure, you guys don't have school today. So you're going to practice, but I don't want anyone watching this going like they should be in school. What are they doing? They're no school there. They're going to get ready to go practice. Best of luck, young ladies. Make sure you practice hard for Coach O'Brien, but then also give him a hard time for me. Please do that some way, shape, or form today. Make sure you do that, and make sure he plays me in pickleball eventually. He's been dodging me, so remind him of that as well.
Thank you.
All right, good luck, young ladies. That is the Central DeWitt girls. They're heading to state, one of 4 teams from our area, heading to state next week. They play, as I mentioned, on Tuesday against Norwalk at 1:30. We're just getting warmed up. A lot more to get to on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air on a Friday here in the Quad Cities. Thanks so much for joining us. It's been a fun show so far. Andy Saey in segment number 1, the United Township head coach, talking about a fantastic season for the Panthers. We kind of looked ahead to a great night of high school basketball tonight with Rocky versus Moline at Wharton Fieldhouse. Rockridge goes to Macomb. I think it's Sterling and Orion down in Mercer County. So and that's just the tip of the iceberg. So a ton of great basketball action around the area. And also just got done with the Central DeWitt young ladies. Those young ladies ready to go to state next week. They will be at state next week on Tuesday at 1:30 against Norwalk. But this is my favorite time of the week because it's wrestling time. It's a big weekend in the WWE. They have Elimination Chamber as the road to Wrestlemania continues. So without further ado, I welcome my next guest, the one and only Don Umland.
Or LA night, however you want to put it.
Oh, I love it.
Let's get settled.
Look at you.
Hey!
I'll play the song a little longer.
It's wrestling week. Yeah!
Oh, Donna, you never disappoint. I don't know if I can look at you in those glasses the entire time, but I want you to keep them on.
Custom made.
Your wife has got to be so proud.
She is.
Can I send her a link to this?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, put that a little closer. Bring it down by the LA night. Bring it down there because you're going to be looking at me. Yeah, pull it over towards you a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you sound good. I actually sound a little low. There we go. Hey, buddy.
How you doing, pal?
This is your second time on the show this week.
Can't wait. Always look forward to it. It's the best part of the week.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take my headphones off because it was reverberating, but the LA night stuff was reverberating in my ear. Yeah, it's a big weekend for
AEW. Oh wait, that other company.
Oh, Don. So it is Elimination Chamber. I'm not, as I said the first time we did this, Tom Caker, and of course Tommy couldn't make it, and God bless him. He's probably watching this in Chicago, getting ready for the Northwestern Iowa game.
Probably having a heart attack.
So proud of you right now. I can only imagine. This is just so proud. But we talked about we're not going to do these segments and kind of like help people along. If you know wrestling, we're going to talk wrestling. We're not going to explain as we go. We're just going to go. So, Elimination Chamber. The road to WrestleMania has officially begun.
Yes, it has.
It's the best time of year. So if you look at like basketball season, March Madness is the best time of the year. You look at the NFL, the playoffs are the best time of the year.
Yep.
You look at WWE, the road to WrestleMania is that time of year. WrestleMania is what, 6 weeks away?
It's like our playoffs right now. This is leading up to the big day. Days.
2 days for WrestleMania. Elimination Chamber, it comes up on Saturday in Toronto. I guess not for the people out there, because if you know, you probably know, but explain real quick what the Elimination Chamber is.
6 guys, 6 gals, obviously.
2 different matches.
2 different matches.
Not all at the same time.
In 6 pods, so to speak, and 2 gentlemen or ladies start out the match in it's a cage, and then they go for 5 minutes, and if you're pinned in the ring, because there is a ring around the cage, you're out. But every 5 minutes they add another individual to the mess, and eventually all 6 get out, and we might have all 6 in there. Oops. We might have all 6 in there, and we might not, depending on pinfalls that occur. But sometimes the pods get crashed into, sometimes they don't, sometimes they jump off the top, and we have a free-for-all.
They're really fun and good matches. So there's 2 of them. They're for the men's and the women's, and the winners will go to, yes, it's your phone that's going off.
Yeah, I know. I'll kill it. So
it's not mine that has Triple H theme music when it starts going.
Thing.
All right, do you want to go ladies first? Or you want to start with the men?
Well, let's make sure so the winner gets a title shot at the remaining available belt, which right now would be for I guess this would be for the championship.
Yeah, this is the winner of the men's will face Cody at WrestleMania.
Right.
And the winner of the women's will face Rhea
right now,
as long as she doesn't lose on Monday, but that's not going to happen. So they'll face Rhea. So you want to go girls first?
Yeah,
ladies
let's go
first?
girls first.
All right. So the thing with that, and I'll give you it's Liv, Alexa Bliss back once again.
Yep.
She made her return at Royal Rumble. Bianca and Naomi, who are tag teams that just lost the belts this past Monday. I don't know if you watched Raw. You're probably busy
I'm all
watching.
Caught up.
Okay, I didn't know if you're watching some AEW.
I'm all caught up on that
too.
That.
Roxanne Perez, who's a fantastic athlete, a wrestler out of NXT, and then Bailey is in it as well. When you kind of look at this whole thing, who stands out first? I don't want to say your winner, but like when you look at usually you look at a list and you're like, okay, that person probably, like favorites coming in. Who would you say the favorites are coming in?
Bianca.
Okay.
I think is the favorite going in. I think they set up a big marquee match. If she, those 2 have only faced once on a Raw / SmackDown event. They've met before, like on NXT and stuff. So they've really never battled each other. So you got that allure.
Don't you feel like going into it with Bianca and Naomi in it, and the fact that they lost the championship, and you're kind of waiting for them to split, maybe?
We've still got the big storyline who attacked Jade.
Yeah.
And, the presumption, I think, is obviously Naomi was behind it so she could get in the mix. That whole thing's going to blow up at some point.
I'm a storyline type of guy. And you look at Alexa Bliss, who's got a long history but hasn't been around or relevant in a while. I think fans would love to see that.
Yeah.
But I think there's not a story to be told yet with it.
Right.
Thoughts on that? Obviously, great to have her in it. Great to have her back. But is she someone that you can... headlining a main event at WrestleMania you can see, or being in a title match at WrestleMania is obviously a place where she can be. I don't see it now. Thoughts?
There's not enough development of where they're going to go with her yet, because we still have her. Is she going to join the Wyatts? How that storyline. There's a lot to be told, and where she's going to be in her mindset.
Yeah.
There's no build up to put her in it, though. I do think she's a sleeper to be around near the end, but I don't think she wins it.
Yeah, and you think about it too. You talked about it. We don't know her personality yet, her character yet.
Right.
Yes, they're characters. but we don't know their character yet. We don't know if she's old school Bliss, if she's Wyatt
Sinister,
Fist Bliss, or where. And it looks like the Wyatt family will be involved in some way, shape, or form. So I don't see that. Roxanne Perez, a fantastic in the Royal Rumble, obviously a future star. Her star is probably not yet when it comes to this level, but obviously it's there. Do they push her quickly?
I don't think so. And I think I'll compare her. She's a rising star. I don't think the storyline's there that people would get all excited about Roxanne versus, for the belt. And I think the same's with Bayley. There's no build-up for her. Credible, no doubt about it. We all know that she's one of the...
And we've seen the Bayley thing.
Yes.
Like, that's the thing, and it's unfortunate, not unfortunate, but like, you don't want to constantly have the same event or the same matches. So, and that's the thing. We'll go back to Liv because she just became a tag champion.
Right.
She's been very relevant. I think she's been the wrestler of the year when it comes to the female side of things. She could be in a main event at WrestleMania, no doubt. That was my first kind of inkling, was like, okay, Liv wins this, but we've seen it so many times.
Yep.
Kind of talk to that, because maybe it's just the thing where people don't want to see the same thing over and over again.
Well, because there's some opportunities to go other ways to keep it fresh. And I think her in her own storyline of how they're trying to rebrand their organization, I think that's happening.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be ways of do they split? Is there going to be a power struggle? She doesn't need to be in the main event. So now you've got other individuals that are still in the wings that aren't in that match, like Becky Lynch, and we don't know what's going to happen with her. She's clearly not in the event, but somebody's going to probably face her at Mania, assuming she comes back. So those are creations that they can take with the losers of the chamber.
Yeah, and I look at that. That's a lot of what I do, is I look at how they're going to make other matches out of this match, not just that one match. They're not like, I think fans look at it like, okay, what's that main event going to be? But a lot of the WWE is looking at it like, how are we structuring this thing moving forward down the road to their biggest event of the year?
Well, let's take an example. If this Naomi thing comes about, that she was the cause of Jade, those two are obviously going to go to war, and her partner, Naomi's partner, who may win the Rumble, is kind of caught in the middle. Like, what did you do?
Yeah.
What did you cause?
Boy, I really, that's the one thing moving forward, is I don't know if Bianca's the winner of this, because of the fact that I think that storyline has to be played out.
Well, she might get screwed in the chamber because of something comes out. We don't know, which leads to another champion.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So let's do it this way. Instead of saying, hey, what's your winner? I want to do it the opposite. I'm going to eliminate people as we go.
Okay.
And we're going to kind of talk through this. So who's that person of the 6 that you don't think's going to win this? We can just eliminate them off the bat. They might have a good showing, all those kind of things, but they're not going to win it. I'll tell you mine. First off, it's live TV.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I don't like seeing Bayley go out first, and I don't think they'll have Roxanne go out first, but maybe Bayley.
Yeah. No, I do think somehow, way, shape. I won't say she goes out first, but I don't think there's any way that we walk out of this and say Bayley won the elimination.
Correct. She's not there at the end.
So we'll eliminate Bayley. I think we both agree with that.
Okay.
Another person, I'm not saying in order, I'm just saying
That's
who
fun.
you don't think is going to win it. My second one would be Roxanne Perez.
Correct.
I think she's fantastic. I think she'll be a star. And 2 years from now, she may be main eventing this thing, but I don't think she's there yet. She'll have a great performance, similar to the Royal Rumble.
She might get a pin in it. Like, she might pin Bayley, and like, okay, she's pretty good.
100%. But I don't think so. We're both in agree that like Roxanne Perez probably is not going to win the Elimination Chamber.
Agreed.
Okay, so we're down to 4: Liv, Alexa, Bianca, and Naomi. I'll let you eliminate the next one.
Wouldn't this be interesting if Naomi took out Bianca somehow? But I'm going to say Naomi.
Yeah, I don't think Naomi wins it. So
No.
I don't know how she leaves or goes, but I don't see Rhea Ripley versus Naomi as a match at WrestleMania. And that's the way you almost got to look at it, Don, is that, you're looking at almost booking the next match, not what happens
Correct.
in this one. So you're down to 3: Liv, Alexa, and Bianca.
Yep.
I think it's too soon for Alexa. Is that the next one that's probably not going to win this thing?
I'm thinking Liv's going out next.
Okay. All right, well, we disagree.
So I think it could go. Now, who takes her out? Alexa gets that moment where she could win it.
Who's more likely to win it, Alexa or Liv? Not the order they go out, but who's more likely to win it?
Liv.
So then I would say Alexa's not winning. I'm doing it in least likely to
then
win.
I'd say Alexa goes out.
So I just don't see her, like we said, yet winning it.
So basically,
and
we're saying the two that are in there at the end are going to be
Liv, and maybe not at the end, but I think the most likely to win moving forward to WrestleMania, Liv and Bianca.
Yep.
Who you got winning it?
I'll stay with my original thought, Bianca.
But before you came in here, I was going with Liv. And the only thing I hate about that is we've seen it before.
Yep.
We've been there, done it, but it's been done well. So oh boy. Yes, Bianca probably does win it now that you kind of talked me into it a little bit.
Because they haven't met each other.
Just because, but like, I'm curious on how it all plays out with Naomi and all those things moving forward. I do see Naomi and Bianca. Maybe it's this. It's Bianca does win. She goes to WrestleMania. They do kind of split up in a way. And Naomi and Jade wrestle at WrestleMania. I'm looking forward to I was looking at that. When is Bianca and Naomi gonna wrestle? And now it's probably when is Naomi and Jade gonna wrestle?
And I'll give you the very least likely, but if you want to throw a swerve, Bianca goes heel and she was behind the attack.
Oh.
And now you lead to her and Jade at some point.
I don't see Bianca ever going heel. Although her husband is Montez from the Street Profits.
Never say never. We've seen the best do a heel turn before.
We'll talk about that here in a second. So all right,
okay.
I will go with Bianca as well. Then you've talked me into it. So we have Bianca winning the Elimination Chamber as an official pick here on Off the Air.
There you go.
So the men's chamber is what we'll talk about next. And before let's do this. Before we talk about the men's chamber, of course, all eyes will be on last SmackDown, last Friday night. The Rock came out, and in a weird, awkward, kind of funky way,
I want your soul.
Wanted Cody's soul. What did you get out of that segment?
Corporate champion.
Yes. Right?
We've seen that storyline before a while ago.
And it was successful.
But basically, you're at my bidding, but I'll give you the keys to the kingdom if you do it.
And he wants that to be Cody. All right, so prediction at Elimination Chamber, you get Cody's answer.
What a great Seth's cut that he did on Raw with him about don't go corporate.
Yeah.
And yet turning it back on him about, hey, you've sold your soul to the devil in your own ways, have your demons. And he admitted it.
Yeah, he said it's the worst thing he ever did.
Don't turn to the dark side.
Yeah.
Is what he's telling him to do.
Yeah. So with that said, doesn't Cody say thanks but no thanks?
I think so, and then
and that's earlier in the night.
Yes, and he makes his life a living hell from that point for denying, to not deal with the devil at some point.
Yes, and at some point, isn't Rock gonna have his own corporate person?
Yes, and it'll also be interesting to see how Roman responds to it because we're so rarely seeing it. But I read that he's going to make some appearances over in Europe prior to Mania. Yeah. He's going to have to obviously have a response on this because he's always been the chosen one.
Yeah.
And you're kind of just dissing him off.
Yeah, your own cousin. You said, forget about my cousin. I'm going to go with this guy.
I want you. Oh.
Yeah, so obviously it sets up a great storyline down the road with that. But in the actual, I think we see Roman tomorrow night?
Yes.
I believe that too. So, okay. So we're in agreement that Cody says no.
Agreed.
Probably pisses The Rock off. And I think it has later repercussions in the night. Or do we think that's down the road?
And what's Roman's reaction? Is he out there when this all happens? Does he, who knows?
Yeah, maybe Roman. Yeah, it's a possible scenario that Roman comes out and almost interrupts it.
Right.
And says, what are we doing here?
Yeah, what's going on?
Or
there?
After it gets done, Roman's music hits and he comes out and everyone thinks he's going to go after Cody and he gets mad at Rock. And he says, what are you doing here? Why
we always wondered, would we ever get a Rock and Roman match?
That's a way to set it up for this from WrestleMania. But it's not happening. So what do the sheets say? I mean, is Roman or is Rock even available for this WrestleMania?
We don't know. I mean, what I've read is they're not giving any firm. They're playing it very close to the vest, so we don't know.
Which is weird because you think if he was going to wrestle at WrestleMania that you would promote the heck out of it. Remember when it was it Rock versus Cena?
Yeah.
And they did it twice, and we knew about it a year in advance.
But we've got, there's plenty of time to build it. It's short heat, but let's say it happens.
Yeah,
we're going to be like, holy shit.
Hey, there's an organization that just flips stuff in a week and makes it a match.
Who would that?
AEW.
Oh, those guys.
Yeah, that non-storytelling fools. Okay, so let's get to the Elimination Chamber.
All
so
right.
I agree. I do think we see Roman, and we'll kind of talk about that with the Elimination Chamber. But men's Elimination Chamber is John Cena. obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, this is Cena's last go-around, last year. And he's just getting done shooting a movie right now, I think.
Yes.
So he'll be around, and it's supposed to be a full-time go once he's back from this last movie.
And Mania is not necessarily his last event. He's here for the year.
Yes.
So that, which gives me some theories. But
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and he is tied with Ric Flair for the most championships of all time.
He go to 17 and have the.
And you don't see him he probably rides off in the sunset as a champion sometime this year.
Yes.
We don't know when, we don't know where, but we probably see that happening.
Yep.
Our own Seth freaking Rollins from right here in the Quad Cities, from Davenport, Iowa. He's in it. Obviously, that's my dude.
Yep.
Not my pick, but that's my guy. CM Punk, the overrated CM Punk. For all our friends out there, Jerry listening and all that kind of stuff. The egotistical, self-centered. No, I don't hate CM Punk. I just hate him when it comes to him and Seth. Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Logan Paul.
Yeah.
And if anybody who's not watching wrestling and actually was watching this and goes, Logan Paul, like that Logan Paul, he's a fantastic wrestler.
I watch every time he comes on because he's such a great heel.
Yeah, good on the mic.
Yeah.
And then also good in the ring as well. And then Damian Priest is in it as well. So I guess let's just go with the reverse order. Who's like the winner of this takes on Cody at WrestleMania.
Yep.
What person on that list do you like? I mean, it's a fantastic. I mean, every single person on that list is a mega superstar in AEW or any other organization. Kind of a shot at you, but like you can see anyone on that list could headline a WrestleMania.
Sure. Or has.
And like the one maybe caveat is Logan Paul, but with his following, with his stardom, like, yeah, that's a good idea to headline a WrestleMania with. But who doesn't? Who's the least likely to do it? If we're looking at
Damian
odds,
Priest.
I would say 100%. So we eliminate Damian. No storyline there, really. Moving from a different show. He's been a champion recently last year. Kind of did his thing with the other belt. So I would agree. What's next?
Oh, boy. This is where it gets really interesting. Because I was going to say Logan Paul, but I could see him knocking out like a McIntyre, and McIntyre just goes bananas again.
Yeah.
So,
you want to know what I'm going to say? As you can probably hear my dog bark, the UPS guys here.
Yeah.
That's part of not being in a studio and being in a house. I hate to say this.
Yes.
I don't think it's Seth and Cody at WrestleMania.
No.
So I'm not saying that like he's the first guy eliminated, second guy eliminated. He could be one of the last guys eliminated, and he's a superstar. I just don't think Cody and Seth, and you maybe are going to revisit that eventually some way, shape, and form down the road because they had a great rivalry and Cody won all three of them.
Yeah.
And you probably think they'd come back around to it at an eventual time, but you could make a storyline. That's what's so great about the WWE right now is there's so many storylines intertwined, but I don't see Seth and Cody at WrestleMania, and that's why I think he's the second least odds of actually winning it.
Well, he's even said I was your shield at the moment. At some point, he's going to say like, "You kind of owe me."
Yeah.
And we're gonna do it if he's the champion still at that point. But yeah, I don't think Seth wins it.
No. So okay, so Seth is out. So our four are Cena, Punk, Drew, and Logan Paul.
Yep.
I get the Logan Paul attraction. I think he's really good in the ring, but I think that's what you get from him.
Yep.
You get the attraction. You get the viewers from what he does. You don't need it to be in a championship match against Cody Rhodes and all that kind of stuff. Great interaction with Cody. No, it was CM Punk and him on Monday, but I don't see Logan Paul winning the match.
No, but he will eliminate somebody to piss them off.
Yes, and that will set up another match.
Yeah, so I think he goes.
So he goes. So we're down to 3, and I've read all 3 of these. Cena, Punk, and Drew and McIntyre. I've read people select each of them for. You look at Drew, and The Rock loves Drew. Maybe The Rock earlier in the night doesn't get the answer he wants from Cody, makes a deal with Roman, and next thing you know, or not with Roman, but with Drew, and next thing you know, he's the corporate champion after getting screwed all the time. I mean, it's a great storyline and something I could see happening. Cena, do you put him at WrestleMania to win his 17th, and that's how you close the dang thing?
Yeah.
And you go from there, and then Punk as well. And here's a caveat to Punk. What if Punk decides, okay, I'll be corporate Punk? Think of the matchups you'd have with him going in as corporate Punk.
Yeah. I think Punk wins it. I think he's going to get his WrestleMania moment against Cody.
Really?
Yes. I've really thought this through, and I think, and here's my, now you know what,
which is, when he says he's thought it through, like, that's being honest. I wish, some people would probably wish that we spent as much time thinking our lives through or our jobs through as much as we think wrestling through.
Yeah, we're thinking, like, what do I want to see? I think Cena doesn't win it there. I still think he could end up winning the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, it's a great possibility, and it's a great storyline. With that being said, if you're going to have a John Cena reign, don't you want to start it sooner than later?
Well, okay, so let's say Cena wins it. Let's go back and let's retract.
Okay.
Then you obviously have Cena against Cody, and Punk against whom? Rollins? I mean, we've done that. So
no, we haven't done it.
Oh, that's true.
We just did it one time on Netflix to like that little baby happy because he has to win everything. And, the guy that left the company for 9 years and was a little baby about it has to come back.
We've had McIntyre.
And here's
Punk.
Seth here to put him over once again.
We've had McIntyre Punk.
Yes.
If one of them eliminates each other.
Yes, I don't think I still think there's a lot with that Netflix Raw debut of the match.
The match.
Punk and CM Punk or CM Punk and Rollins. I thought that was the first of a trilogy.
It's possible.
And I think the next one might be at WrestleMania. And I think the last one might be at. With that being said, when's the last time we saw Roman Reigns? We mentioned seeing Roman maybe some point in the night.
Yes.
When's the last time you saw Roman Reigns?
It's been a while. It was back.
What happened the last time you saw him?
You have to refresh my memory.
He was getting curb stomped by Seth Rollins.
I think that could be the match you get.
So
people are clamoring for that match.
Well, part of me thinks Roman ends up messing up Punk and Rollins.
Yeah.
And then you have a triple threat maybe between Punk, Rollins, and Roman at WrestleMania.
With Cena going on.
And then Cena goes on and faces Cody for the championship.
Well, that's pretty logical too, because we've seen those three interact and have heat. It's just like, do you want to burn them all in a triple threat? But then, when you have that, all bets are off because there's then we could have crazy shit happen.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right. Well, let me put your money where your mouth is. I still now, it's a well thought out conversation. I'm go ahead. I'll do my pick. Give me your pick.
You're trying to twist me around.
No, you're good. You've thought this out. Remember what you said? You thought this out and who was going to win?
I had Punk down because I think it's Punk and Rollins, but I could be wrong.
Punk and Cody.
Or Punk and Cody.
I'm going to say Cena.
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying that for is for my tribal chief, Caesar, who's watching out there, who just wants his guy to win his last 17th championship. So I think if you're going to close down a WrestleMania, grandest stage of them all, that moment is going to be seeing John Cena winning for the 17th time. And then there's so many storylines you can move throughout the summer, who eventually takes it from him to end his career, all those kind of things.
Make a prediction right now. Who closes out his career?
Randy Orton?
That's who I see. He's a legend killer.
Yeah.
He's the logical guy.
And you add another, what's he at? He's got to be at like
13 or so.
Or 14. So that adds one to him, and then eventually maybe he ties them, and we do that stuff. I have heard that Randy's going to be back sooner than later. I heard he's going to be on the road to WrestleMania as well. So does Randy Orton show up in one way, shape, or form?
Maybe.
Which is what we'll talk about in another match coming up in just a second. So with all this fantastic, so I have Cena, you have Punk. We both have Bianca.
Yep.
We have Cody saying no. There is more to get to when it comes to the Elimination Chamber. We're going to take a quick time out, get a drink of water. For all of you wrestling people that are loving this, we appreciate you watching. We get to be dorks once a month probably, and this is one of those times as well. So I am here with the one and only the great L.A. Umland. L.A. Umland is what they call him.
I like that.
And we got a lot more to get to right after this.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
You from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. We are back on Off the Air on a Friday here in the Quad Cities. It is there we go. It is a fun Friday because we're talking wrestling as we work our way into the weekend. Thank you guys first and foremost for watching. If you're still watching, God bless you. Fun show so far. Andy Saey in our first segment. We talked to the Central DeWitt girls in the second segment of the show. They're going to state next week. And we're talking some wrestling right now. Coming up at the end of the show, I got to get something off my chest. I'm wearing a Lions sweatshirt today.
I see that.
And something's annoyed me this week, so I got a little Randazzo's rant to end the Friday to make me feel better as we go into the weekend. That's coming up in just a little bit. It involves the Bears and the Lions and all that kind of fun stuff. But we are talking wrestling Elimination Chamber tomorrow in Toronto. We have LA Umland in the house, sunglasses and all. Your wife has got to be so proud. Your employer has got to be so proud. Where are you at tonight game-wise?
I got north at Muscatine.
Here's my question. Do you think any of our wrestling buddies, a.k.a. Henry Hall?
Yeah.
We should have had Henry on.
I'm
being 100% serious. He's been bugging me about being on, and he hasn't been on yet, and we should have had him all. For WrestleMania, we'll have him part of the WrestleMania show.
Absolutely. He's got to be part of the crew.
Yes, absolutely. So, where'd you say, Muscatine tonight?
North of Muscatine.
That's a good game. You're halfway there.
I am.
Said hang out this afternoon.
Yeah, Friday afternoon club.
That's what my wife calls. She's like, what do you got planned this afternoon? I'm like, got to make some stuff up so it doesn't look like I'm being done working at noon on a Friday, but there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
So we've talked a lot about the Elimination Chamber. We've got our girls matches and our boys matches done. We kind of talked about Cody and Roman, or not Cody and Roman, Cody and Rock, and probably Cody's going to decline that offer. I don't think it goes much farther than that. I think it's the answer then, and then there'll be a response or a move for Roman or for Rock moving forward.
Let's just play devil's advocate for just sidebar for a second.
Yeah.
Let's say he says yes. What happens?
I mean, you've seen Cody in the past, and people probably don't remember. They remember his Stardust and all that kind of stuff. But Cody in TNA was a bad guy, a heel, if you will, and he plays it well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what if Cody comes out tonight and he's got dark hair and a black suit on instead of the blonde hair?
Yeah.
And he does. He says, I'm in.
It sounds. I just don't think they got too much invested in him after. It's only been a year.
Yep.
Another year from now, maybe.
Yeah, and I hope they don't go down the road of when we mentioned like I've had people say to me, what if Cena goes heel?
Yeah.
And he becomes like and then you don't do that at the end of your career.
Not gonna
I
happen
hope
at this
that
point.
they don't do an entire career with Cody where he's just a squeaky baby face. And I shouldn't say that because the entire career, there was a lot before this. But from now on, the new launch of Cody Rhodes.
Hogan did it. It took a long time, but eventually he went heel.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I don't want to see somebody be a good guy his entire career.
No.
And like from here on out, I eventually want Cody to go to the dark side. I think he'd play a really good heel.
Well,
I
he's
think
got enough years left that they can do it at some point.
Nope,
So,
absolutely. But I don't
okay.
think it's happening now.
No.
Some other good matches coming up at the Elimination Chamber. We talk about seeing a match over and over again. We're going to see it again, and it's always amazing. And we haven't seen it in a while, but Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, real life best friends. Really good angle set up right now. It's an unsanctioned match, which gives that kind of allure of like God only knows what those two are going to do to each other. And you've seen first and foremost the brutality of the match. Don is going to be at a pretty high level.
They're going to blow the doors off the building, and we know what we're going to get. You insert wrestler X into a match, and you know you're going to have a great match with either one of them. And the fact you got them together in their chemistry, I expect it's going to steal the night.
Yeah, and both of them in their home country of Toronto, the Canadians love those two even more.
The crowd is going to be insane.
I think it's going to be really, really good. So looking at this match moving forward, who wins this match?
KO.
I would agree, because it's not the first. I should say it's the first of a couple. Doesn't it get run back at WrestleMania some way, shape, or form?
You would think, because we go, like, again, where do you go with them after this? KO's made plenty of enemies, so there are other places to go. But I do think it gets run back because something's gonna happen.
Can I interest you in this? We talked about Randy Orton earlier.
Yeah.
Does some way, shape, or form Randy insert himself? I'm not saying for one or the other or both, but just inserts himself where all of a sudden at WrestleMania you have Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens in a ladder match or a street fight or a steel cage match or just in a match in general.
Or even if it was Randy and KO only.
Because who put Randy out of action?
That dark side.
Yeah, KO.
Yeah.
So, I can see something like that happening. One, you're right. You're going to get a fantastic match, which is going to be awesome. And this is, I think, just the build-up. Because honestly, when it happened and he turned on him the Monday night after Royal Rumble,
right.
Wasn't it that? I just thought, wow, that just set up Mania.
Yeah.
And here's the thing I was talking about the other day. A lot of times it was like you had Rumble, and then the WrestleMania, the Monday night afterwards kind of set up the WrestleMania, and you just went.
Right.
And sometimes it got old by the time it got there. How many times can you set up matches and set up events when they've done a good job of making Elimination Chamber really, really relevant?
Yes.
And so you don't know the card for WrestleMania right after Royal Rumble.
No.
You used to know half of it, maybe 3/4 of it. What do we know about WrestleMania right now? We know that's Tiffy and Charlotte. We
Yep.
know that it's Gunther and Jay.
Yep.
And that's it.
For the most part, yeah.
And so you have a lot to get to, not just at Elimination Chamber, but the week after Elimination Chamber is going to be fascinating when it comes to Raw.
Because we
and
have some
SmackDown.
people that can still come back that aren't back yet,
Yep.
that are going to, like Becky, Orton.
And the crazy thing is you don't even need those people. They almost muddy the waters a little bit because of all the talent that this company has.
Yes.
It's amazing how much talent WWE has compared to what AEW has. Like, you'd almost get to the point where it's like WWE, NXT, TNA.
That's a low blow.
SCW.
You know? Oh, okay.
And then AEW.
Hey, we've got MJF coming up against, big match.
Well, we're all out of time. No, I'm just kidding. No,
I know. We'll table that for another time.
No, we won't. We'll table it for never until they become irrelevant. No, but they do have a pay-per-view coming up that should be pretty good.
They do. But I think you're right. Sammy as the chaser.
Yep.
It's a much better story. He doesn't need to win.
Yep.
But we can set up another match.
Yeah. So I think that's what they move forward to. There is this was what it was. There was a tag team match at the Royal Rumble that I was just like, why is there a tag team match at the Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
There's almost another one. I get it because I think the WWE values Trish Stratus more than what she needs to be valued. And that's taking no disrespect away from her and all those kind of things. But with the way the women's division is right now and in WWE and in NXT and everything else in between, you don't need a nostalgia act. And I'm not saying she can't still go, but you don't need that. But it is in her home country of Toronto, her hometown of Toronto. I think that's where it makes sense. So
this is an homage for her because she's obviously, if she couldn't still go.
Yeah.
But she can wrestle a very credible match. And she's kind of a mentor.
Is she 50?
Close.
Wow.
She's a mentor, maybe. Those people talking about great mentor for Tiffy.
Yeah.
Tiffy's not going to lose that match.
Yeah. So
she's got to have all her momentum going, and they're in Canada.
Yeah, 100%. So it's Tiffy and Trish versus Nia Jax. I almost used the nickname, but Nia Jax versus what's her
sidekick?
Yeah, that girl. So yeah, I honestly think that one works out, and that's obviously kind of that feel good moment in Toronto. And I think it'll be a good match. And like you said, Tiffy's star is rising, and they're just going to use that to continue to rise that star to WrestleMania as well.
We don't say it a lot, because Nia's part of the mix. It has been for recently. she's actually really good on the mic.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a good heel.
Yeah.
I mean, and you can't have great faces without great heels.
Yeah.
And she's a good heel.
It's funny because as much as I like Kevin Owens cracks me up.
Yeah.
And he can be a really good face. I love heel Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Like I do. And like to flip to your little organization you like to watch, MJF is a fantastic heel.
He's
and
one
like
of the
this
best.
business needs bad guys. Like you watch a movie at home and you're not watching going like who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. I mean, you want those people. You want those characters and you need bad guys. And I know that there was a point in time in wrestling where like they just got rid of heels and faces and it was just you did whatever, and I can understand that, and I don't mind blurring it a little bit, but at some point you need bad guys, and that gets good guys over.
And if you can be an anti-hero like a Stone Cold and pull it off,
yeah,
you can go back and forth. You know, MJF does it. I mean, they hate him, but they love him.
I love MJF. Everybody boos him, and I love me some MJF.
Yeah.
Before we go, give me one. You kind of alluded a little bit to it, but one person that's not on the card that we're going to see a surprise return at Elimination Chamber.
RKO.
I agree. That'd be my one. And the thing is, you talked about Becky before WrestleMania.
Yeah.
She didn't show up, and it doesn't do that much. I don't know where she slides into what goes on.
Yeah, if she shows up, what's the intent? Because you really don't insert yourself into the chamber matches. Well, you could, but I mean...
Well, there's that talk that Rock inserts himself into the chamber match that,
maybe.
You know, after he gets the no that he doesn't like, that he says, okay, I got to go after this belt myself if you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And he hops in. I doubt that happens, but you never know. The days of Vince just changing things at the last second, I think, are said and done.
Yeah.
But do you think they know at this point, what are we? We're 24 hours out.
Yeah.
They have everything set.
Oh, yeah. Man. I don't think there's anything that's occurred on the shows as of late. You like it being on Netflix? Does it change your position, the show being on?
I don't hate it. No, I think streaming is the future, Don. I think everybody
really?
should stream and YouTube and all those kind of things. And if you haven't subscribed to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on YouTube, you should do so ASAP.
You owe me for that plug.
Thank you. Yeah.
But I think the show being on there, it probably gives them a little more creative freedom because now they're on a live stream versus USA Network.
Yeah. It's weird because I thought it was going to 3 hours and it's 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's like 2:42.
And I don't understand why that is, and they've cut it off sometimes, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. So the exciting thing is, along with everything else that I'm trying to do and get started, Don and I and our friend Tom Kakert and maybe my brother Larry are going to start a wrestling podcast, a weekly wrestling podcast. So we'll get that out to you guys once it gets started. But we're going to call it. Don, do you want to announce the name or no? Do you want to wait?
Go for it.
You want to wait?
We'll save it. Yeah,
we'll save the name.
We just gave the teaser. We don't.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. It gives us a chance to be dorks. But every time there's a big event, every time there's a Elimination Chamber or WrestleMania coming up, all those kind of things.
Or I can talk about that other production.
No, we're not going to do a show on AEW.
They're all inclusive on the podcast.
On the podcast.
On the podcast.
I'm talking about this show.
Oh, this
Anytime
show.
there is an Elimination Chamber, a WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, we'll have Don on. Hopefully Tom's back in town next time. He's actually one of those people with real jobs that has to go places and do things, so he's on his way to
come up with another
Northwestern.
outfit for the next time.
I don't think you're going to have any trouble opening up your closet and finding something wrestling to wear. I have a feeling that your wife would be like, we'll be glad.
She already has stacked the pile,
some...
like ready to put it out for a yard sale.
Why?
It's wrestling shirts. It's wrestling. It's a battle in my house.
Well, it's a battle. Hey, and that's the thing is my wife has Mardi Gras for junior board this weekend, and I have basketball games. So I'm hustling back from Clinton, coaching my 4th grader to be a good husband and put a tuxedo on and not watch the Elimination Chamber, but to go to Mardi Gras, which should be a blast. But
replays
I'll
are
probably be
fine.
watching it on Sunday with my boys. But it is fun to always get together. You know what's the killer before we go? WrestleMania is on Easter weekend.
Yes.
What are we doing? Trips? Like, do you not love Jesus? What's going on here? You're killing me.
Just enjoy wrestling. You can balance the two.
I don't even know how. Like, I told people, like, because we love to get together for WrestleMania. Like, I'm better off on Sunday, I think, of Easter than Saturday.
We might be watching this at 10 at 11 at night.
I just don't know. Like, I mean, Easter. Like, I still got like young kids and stuff.
I know.
Like, I mean, the Easter thing's a thing.
It is a little surprising they did it on a holiday.
I was shocked by it because I was so excited for it. But we'll still watch and figure it all out. So, anyways, L.A. Umland making an appearance here today on the show. Don, we appreciate it. He'll be wearing a different costume. He'll play the role of referee tonight down in Davenport North and Muscatine. And Don, as I always tell you, don't mess it up.
Try not to.
All right.
Just have fun.
All right. We got one more segment to get to. I got a little rant to get off my chest before we go into the weekend. That and much more right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We'll be back right after I restart and play this.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air on a Friday here in the Quad Cities. It is Friday. Everyone ready for the weekend. And before we got to the weekend, I wanted to get a few things off my chest. Every Friday, I'm going to do a little Randazzo's rant, if you will, just to kind of get into a good mood and a good attitude as I head into the weekend. And so looking back at this week, there's one thing that's, well, there's several things, but there's one thing that's really annoyed or frustrated me as a sports fan. And I'm sitting here wearing my Lions sweatshirt in the middle of Bears country, so I get it. I got my Lions helmet, my Dan Campbell right here. So I get I'm a fish out of water here, but the Bears made a really good hire as a head coach. Ben Johnson, former Lions offensive coordinator, is the guy that everyone wanted. Never been a head coach before, but led one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in football over the last 2.5 years. Ever since Ben Johnson took over in Detroit, the Lions offense has ascended to one of the best in all of football. It was a good hire. But it was within the division, and it's obviously going to make for a new rivalry or a better rivalry or a more defined rivalry when it comes between the Bears and the Lions. The Lions have handled everything great. Nothing but compliments to a guy that done a ton for him. Dan Campbell's been overly complimentary. But for some reason, Ben Johnson wants to keep poking the bear. And on all of the interviews he does, and I feel like he does every interview. I should reach out because he'd probably come do an interview on my show. And I get that. He's the face of a franchise in which everyone loves the quarterback. So despite doing all the interviews to all the media outlets he wants to, he's still going to take a backseat to a unproven second-year quarterback. But that's besides the point. He continues to take jabs, Ben Johnson that is, and shots at the Detroit Lions and at Jared Goff. And I know some of them are in fun, and I get all that. But it's just interesting to me that a guy who's never coached a game in the NFL is eager to start rivalries and start feuds, if you will, with the other teams in the division, in a division that's still one of the best in football. I know they didn't win a postseason game, and everyone said maybe they were overrated. But if I'm picking right now, the Bears aren't anything that I'm picking anywhere in the top 3 in the division. Minnesota returns both coordinators, all their coaches, had a great season. They may upgrade at quarterback. Who knows? Maybe Matthew Stafford, maybe J.J. McCarthy's really good. If not, maybe they go back with Sam Darnold. But they've got a ton of talent on that team. Packers had a good season. They're young, talented, ascending. The Lions have won the division the last 2 years, and I know they lost their 2 coordinators, but man alive, that roster is super stacked and super ready to go. So if I'm the Bears, yes, they're winning the offseason already because they signed the guy that everybody wanted them to get. They win the offseason all the time. I mean, they traded for DJ Moore, and it was the greatest trade along with getting the number 1 pick in Caleb Williams. It's the greatest trade that ever happened, but they didn't do anything. And then last year they signed Keenan Allen and they had Cole Kmet and they had all these weapons, and it was the best situation ever for the Chicago Bears for a rookie quarterback coming into the league. And they didn't do anything, and they finished last. And I'm a Lions fan. I get it. I totally get it. I know what it's like to be the laughing stock of the league, but man, I don't think Bears fans realize that they haven't done anything in a long, long time. And until they start doing that, they probably should pump the brakes on picking fights or starting rivalries or trying to energize rivalries with teams in the division that are simply better than them right now. So I get it. It's going to be a great fall, and we're just getting going. I mean, they could make fantastic moves this offseason. We could be talking in April and May after the draft and free agency, and I could sit here and say, wow, I think the Bears might win the division. Although those words have never come out of my mouth before, so I doubt I say that, but who knows what happens. And the Bears are once again, they put together a great staff. I love Ben Johnson. I'm not trying to bash him. I think he's great, except for the fact he's never coached in an NFL game. And he's been an offensive coordinator. And there's been a lot of offensive coordinators that have been great and then not been good head coaches. I think Ben will be, but let's just pump the brakes and wait and see. So I'm just kind of surprised by the tour that Ben Johnson's on, where he's taking jabs at making little jokes and remarks about Jared Goff, a guy who won a ton of games for him, or the Lions organization. It's weird to me, especially when he's downgrading in quarterback. As of right now, and everybody can tell me about potential all they want, but as of right now, if you're playing a game tomorrow in the NFL, if you don't want Jared Goff over Caleb Williams, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. That could change. Could change by midseason, could change by the end of the year. But as of right now, if you got to win one game right now, the guy in Detroit's the guy you're going to take. So it was just interesting to me. It was funny to me. I didn't really expect it from Ben, and it's been firing me up a little bit. And it's funny because I have the rivalry. I'm a Lions fan who grew up in Bears country, not liking the Bears. I get it. And I know Bears fans, they don't like the Packers. They don't like the Vikings. The Lions have always been that team that, oh, that's cute, and they don't really threaten. But I guess what I don't think Bears realize is that the Bears have always been that cute, the team that's cute and not really threatening ever so often. They do something cute, but they've been the same as the Lions. And right now the Lions are the king of the North, and it's just surprising to me that Ben wants to pick this fight or this feud, but it's good for football. It's good for the division. I get that. All of those kind of things as well. So we'll see what happens next year. I wish it was already football season. And I'm excited because for a long time, Bears-Lions games haven't been that fun for me because the Lions have gone into them as the favorites, Bears fans expecting to lose. I'm kind of excited for a season where maybe the Bears expect to win and the Lions expect to win, and it can be a fun game. But just pump the brakes, Ben. Pump the brakes when it comes to all the talk about the Lions and the jabs at Jared Goff. And I know a lot of them are in fun, but get your own house right. You're going to a much, much, much less talented team. The roster's not nearly as good in Chicago as it is in Detroit. A lot of work to do in Chicago. Almost there in Detroit. So I get it. I love it. I guess the rivalry will be fun, but let's just focus on playing football next year. I can't wait for football season. So that's my little Lions rant. If you want to weigh in, hit me up on social media. Hit me up on the YouTube chat as well. But yeah, if I'm picking the NFC North right now, and there's an off season to go, I'm picking the Bears last. And they've had a great off season that so far. They always win the off season. Man, if they could print banners for winning the offseason on paper and in the media, man, they'd have like 5 straight. It seems like every offseason the Bears are talking about another great offseason. And then every year we're talking about draft picks and we're talking about last place and all those kind of things. Could change. But just for now, wanted to get that off my chest, feel better about the weekend moving forward. Love Ben Johnson, love what he's done. Best offensive coordinator in Lions history, which is kind of, I mean, the bar was set pretty low. So it's not like, but he's been amazing. He's been the best offensive coordinator in football, and he's done a lot of good things. But you got to remember, his last game as an offensive coordinator wasn't very good. He had Jamison Williams throwing a pass in traffic down 14 in a playoff game. He had a 3rd and 1 early in the game. He had an empty backfield when you're one of the best running football teams in the league. So he was fantastic. His last game wasn't good. And yes, you look at it and sounds like since November he's wanted to go to the Bears. So that was obvious. That's something that he planned on doing. Do I think he didn't do well in the playoffs because of that, or he was ready to move on? No, absolutely not. He prepared. He was ready to rock, all those kind of things. But his last performance was far from his best performance as an offensive coordinator for the Lions. So anyways, I feel better. I'm sure most of you disagree with me. And if that's the case, that's awesome. Please reach out. Let me know. So that is your Randazzo's rant for a Friday here in the Quad Cities. I will put my Dan Campbell bobblehead away. I'll take a drink out of my Lions cup and I'll move on and get ready for the weekend. We'll get you ready for the weekend as well. We got more to get to. We'll be right back on Off the Air on a Friday.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air on a Friday here in the Quad Cities. The weekend, especially for me, is nearly here. We want to thank everybody for watching. Thank everybody for watching throughout the week. The numbers continue to do better and better, which is fantastic. And the guests are a lot of fun as well. Make sure you check out the entire week. Get caught up on the shows and the interviews and all that kind of stuff. I am really excited for Monday. Coming up on Monday, it is Monday, so it'll be always anger, like it always is on a Monday. But we'll also be joined by his partner in crime in the Iowa radio booth, the one and only Gary Dolphin will be with us coming up on Monday along with Pat. So that is going to be a ton of fun, chasing down some more fun things for next week as well. So I really want to thank you guys for supporting the show and subscribing to everything you need to subscribe to and all those kind of things as well. It's been a ton of fun. So don't forget, on Monday right here on Off the Air, Gary Dolphin and Pat Anger talking about God knows what. In fact, I may just be quiet on Monday and let those guys carry the show, which would be a very, very good thing. So I want to thank everyone for watching this week. Take the weekend, catch up on some stuff, subscribe, tell some friends, all of those good things. And we'll be back with a brand new episode of Off the Air coming up on Monday. Have a great weekend, Quad Cities.